Hello everyone, it's Brandon here again for another video. Today is going to be another video about bipolar disorder and my personal experience with it. I recently had someone ask a question. Their name on YouTube was Noble Paxtonia. Basically, they were asking about, if I had any videos from when I was in a manic episode. And I did record videos. This was actually what started me making videos on YouTube of myself in my own life. I started recording stuff when I was manic. Now, since then, all of those videos had been deleted, and something I described to Noble Paxtonia, the one who asked the question. My parents convinced me to delete any of those videos that I recorded while I was in a manic episode. Simply because they were damaging to my reputation. And the way that it was damaging to my reputation was I was essentially doing things that I knew looked crazy and sounded crazy, and I didn't care. When I was in a manic episode, I had literally zero care for what anyone else thought of me. Like, I stopped caring about that. And before I had the episode, I was someone who had a lot of social anxiety, really held myself back, and I didn't express myself fully. When I had my first manic episode, I began really expressing myself in ways that I couldn't have even imagined before. It got to the point where I would talk to myself and have conversations with myself while other people were in the room. Is this actually something that makes you insane? No, I don't think so. I still talk to myself all the time, but I do so in private. It's a way that helps me to express ideas and to have the sounds out there to say it. It kind of cements the ideas a little bit easier for me. That's kind of one reason why I like making videos. It's almost like a lighter version of that. But essentially, I took that behavior of I used to talk to myself to kind of, synthesize information in my own head, and I started saying that stuff in front of everyone. And of course, there's a little bit of stigma attached to doing something like that in our society. So when I started doing that, it freaked people out. And to add to that, I had rapid speech. That's a common symptom of mania. You talk really fast, you have racing thoughts, you jump from one topic to another. So I was bouncing all over the place, and I was making connections that were there, and they made logical sense within my own mind, and I don't doubt any of those connections even today. I think everything that I experienced and felt in a manic episode was true, and it was a real connection to a certain extent, but I'm not saying that anyone on outside of my own mind would have understood those things. They simply didn't have all the information. Well, I could be talking about the Egyptians one minute, and I could be talking about, calculus the next minute, and I could be talking about, psychological principles that people are not going to accept unless they have a high level of openness the next minute. Things that I said were very hard to follow. But now I want to get into something with this video. I actually did a bit of kind of like free writing when the person asked me the question about my manic episode. It got me into a state where I really felt like expressing what I thought about mania. And it brought back a lot of the emotions that I felt, and it kind of brought me back into that experience. So this writing, the grammar and structure of it isn't fully, perfect. It's more like almost poetic in a sense. I'm not gonna call it poetry, but basically I free-flowed all the ideas that I had, remembering back to the time when I was manic. So I'm going to read this off my phone now, and in my mind, I think it's pretty powerful. Hopefully you guys can see and feel some of what I experience during my episodes when I read this. So I'm going to start with that now. I do think that everything I said made sense while I was in the experience. This does not mean that it made sense to others. I was very facetious. I loved to make convoluted jokes that made me seem completely mad to most people witnessing them. I had rapid thoughts, euphoria, and confidence beyond measure. It was a true transformation. It was on a similar level of difference as a man turning into a werewolf. Superhuman powers were the normal mode of experience during mania. I cared more deeply for people, I loved more, I opened my heart, I spoke my mind. I stopped caring 100% what people thought of me. I remember thinking that I had been reborn or simply born for the first time. The life that I had before felt like death compared to this. Mania was incredible. I miss Mania, I love Mania. My friend that I was acquainted with for such a short period of time. But the issue comes that mania is not sustainable. More so, it is destructive to your normal life. There is no normal life for the manic. You will quickly erode all of your positive relationships unless these people either care for you in the deepest, most loving ways or have levels of openness that far surpass that of ordinary people. Mania is inspiration. Mania is genius in an untamed, raw form. Mania itself might not produce any masterpieces, but it surely could create beauty beyond measure if it were paired with discipline. That discipline would have to come in a later time in a different state, because mania is in a way antithetical to discipline. It is letting loose, moving and flowing from one idea or project to the next instantaneously. Manics are hard to follow. True type 1 manics are feeling something so powerful. It's hard to fathom from the experience of the neurotypical. I bring description of this magical mode of being in order to explain that it will also be as damaging as heroin. It can destroy and will destroy, but it feels so good. It is beyond words. Oh, my manic episode, I miss you so much, and I will miss you for so much longer, as I have found stability. I have found forward progress. I have been making steady growth toward being an all-around better person. I don't think that the highs are worth sacrificing that. I don't think that the highs are worth sacrificing my friends and family who I love. I don't think the highs are worth losing my own sanity. The manic is only crazy from the perspective of the sane. In my own mind, I was love, God, Jesus, and bliss incarnate, but only in my experience. The experience that others had of me was not so pleasant. It was painful for loved ones to see me behave that way, but I was free for once, so it's a price we all had to pay. For those episodes surely made me who I am today. So I hope that you appreciate the information that was in those notes that I just gave, because it really does come back to a very visceral and powerful experience that I had in my own life. I hope that this gives a bit of insight into what it feels like to be in a manic episode. If you have bipolar disorder yourself or know someone who has it, I hope that this has helped to kind of give you more information about what mania is. And ultimately, I invite you to ask me any questions in the future about bipolar disorder, because I thoroughly enjoy helping people who have questions about this, as I have gone through the experience myself, and I still have all of the same symptoms, just my mania is controlled. I still experience depression at times, and I have bipolar disorder, so I really care for others who also have it, or other psychological disorders as well, and I want the best for all of us. So if you have any questions and think that I might have knowledge or information that would be helpful to you, I thoroughly encourage you to ask me those questions in the comments of this video. But other than that, I am going to sign off for today, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video all the way through. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for watching.